Well, hey everybody, welcome. I'm Dave.
Hi, you guys. I'm Lisa.
And we are back for another round of
Edition.
another
Whatever you
edition.
call it.
I don't know what this is.
Another time.
Another
to
installment.
Chat with y'all.
Yeah. So we are 5 weeks into life groups.
Crazy.
Isn't that insane?
I mean, and we're only 9 weeks, so we're like over halfway.
Halfway through.
How does that happen?
If you're running a marathon, this is the halfway point. So grab some
Refuel,
water.
please.
Grab some water.
Yeah,
I know nothing about running marathons, so
I do.
Oh, you do?
I ran one once.
That's right. Well, so what's the halfway point feel like?
It's not bad. Usually you're feeling good then.
Oh, well, good. Maybe you're feeling
good.
good.
Mile 20 that you hit the wall.
We want to talk about two things that maybe could help getting into this, because at the halfway point now, you've been with your groups for a little while, and some of you are with more established groups, and so you can kind of maybe ignore this. But the past week, Steve spoke about suffering, and this week we're going to talk about hypocrisy, and then after that we're going to be talking about favoritism. And so these are some really kind of deep topics that James is delving into. And I just thought that it would be, we were just talking kind of as a staff that the reason why I think Steve's message was so impactful this past week is because it comes from a place of deep pain and honesty. It's not a pretense. I mean, Steve had to live through that suffering. And I think that's why it has power. And people lean in when they know that you've actually gone through it. So we're just going to encourage you again, if your group is starting to gel and you're starting to know it, finally you know everyone's name, one of the best things you can do is just take some time at the beginning of your groups, after the chit chat and after the fun, and just begin sharing your stories. And leaders, we would just encourage you to start this off, and every week maybe have somebody else go and just kind of ask them to tell the life stories. And anyway, and we've found that this is actually a great way not only to get to know people, but really actually model vulnerability. And so we got some kind of ideas about how that could happen. So
if you guys scroll down after you listen to our video, you'll notice at the bottom of the Herald, there is a copy of the handbook. On page 18 in the handbook is what we call storylines. And they're actual questions that you kind of as a guide you can use to help as you probably model being the first one to share your storyline of kind of things about your childhood, your teen years, and then your adult life, but kind of weaving through it your God experience as well. And to your point, Dave, I think speed of the lead, speed of the group as far as what you're going to get out. So the more vulnerable that you can be, the more real that you can be with, things that have made you who you are today. I think that will provide an opportunity for people within your group, especially in this series in James, to really feel like they can open up and talk about the things that they're struggling with, the things that they find hard. I've seen that already. It's been encouraging as I read through the touch points and how lots of your groups are going deep because of the book of James. So perfect time, as you said, to start intentionally talking about, hey, for the next number of weeks, each week we're going to take 20 minutes and let a different person share their story. So page 18 of the handbook, just scroll down to the end of the Herald, click on the handbook, and it lists storyline. I do want to share one quote at the end.
I want you to share that.
Oh, okay.
But because I think before we jump into that, I think there's one thing to say is a lot of people think that you have to be hyper spiritual about your story, and that the only thing about your story that matters is somehow like when you started going to church or something like that. And the whole of your story, I think, is God's work. So where you were born and all the stuff that happened, all that, because when you're honest and you tell your whole story, it allows people to enter in and find their own story in there. So the more vulnerable and honest you are, the more chance for connection you have with another human. But then when you bring in God, that's when people can see the hope. So
and I would say make it fun too. I know in the years past when we've done it, we bring pictures of us when we were little. We brought our picture when we got married. Just so don't. This is not like a super serious. Like don't make it too heavy. But this quote I think is great. By Brendan Manning is great. It says, "In a futile attempt to erase our past, we deprive the community of our healing gift. If we conceal our wounds out of fear and shame, our inner darkness can neither be illuminated nor become a light for others." So it's important to give the gift of being authentic
Yeah.
and real, and the highs and the lows
Yeah.
of our stories, because it makes up who we are.
And that's from a man who was a lifelong alcoholic, covering up his wounds with alcohol. And it was his, experience in AA that said the Christian community should be more like AA and less like the kind of plastic church that he saw.
Yeah.
And that's why Brennan Manning, I think, has been such a powerful author. Anyway,
Absolutely.
just want to encourage that. It's so life-giving to get to know people and hear their story, where they've come from, where they're going, and all that kind of stuff. So just do that.
Yeah, I think that's really the main thing that we want to, put out there for this Herald for you guys is just start that in your groups, and as you're going through James, use it as an opportunity just to continue the conversation and where God is in your life, and being real and praying for each other and supporting each other. Just really appreciate you guys as leaders and leading the charge and being that example to your group by the way that you share.
Like Steve says often, we can never become as a church what we're supposed to become if we're not becoming individually with God. And so when James talks about going through trials and how we suffer and hypocrisy and all the topics we're going to be talking about, if we don't do the hard work as individuals, then our church is never going to get better. And you guys are leading the charge in that. So thanks
we
for
appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
We will
Anything
see you.
else?
No, I don't think so. Have a great day.
All right.
And we will see you very soon.
All right, you guys. Take care. Thanks again.
Thanks.